Hello and welcome to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for Tuesday, October 29th. We're going to be breaking it down. I am your host, Tyler, at FlatTyler83 on Twitter on X and on your DFS sites. Now, come join us at LineStar. This show is brought to you by LineStar, and we show our website platform, but we also do have the apps, Android or iOS apps, by far the best apps in the DFS space. So download us, give us a try, and we do have a free 7-day trial through the app stores. If you've never used us before, now try us out. Let's go. Let's get into this game or this slate. We are going to start with position by position. Now, one thing I want to point out on this slate, this Sacramento versus Utah game, both teams are on back-to-back, but it is by far the highest total on the night. So we got 13 points higher than Minnesota-Dallas. And I think the key to this slate is really going to figure out the rotations with the Pelicans, Warriors, as well as with Utah and Sacramento, because all of those teams have some question marks for today as far as what we're going to see from their rotations. We'll dig into all that, but right now, jumping into point guard on FanDuel, our highest owned, De'Aaron Fox, 8,600, 41% owned. I think he's a little too high owned right now. However, his price is, $1,000 less than it was last season, but I think that's a good reason. With DeMar DeRozan there's a big difference on what this team needs out of him in the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter last year, or the last few years, is really where he's made his bread. He has just been an amazing closer, and now they have DeMar DeRozan, who is also a very good closer. So I think there's some ceiling potential out of his game this year. There are going to be some games where he is the closer and he's bringing it down. But I am worried about that. So far, around 1.13, 1.5 fantasy points per minute this season versus like 1.25 last year. I think that sticks. The other thing, it's a really good matchup, so I see why people want to go here. I am fading him a little bit, not totally, just going to be, a good bit under the field. I don't mind Fox, but coming under. Dennis Schroeder, Ben Simmons is going to be out this game, so there is a little bit of a boost to the ball handlers, just because Simmons is good with handling the ball. So I do like Schroeder a bit in this spot versus the Nuggets. So definitely willing to go here. It's also a back-to-back for the Nuggets, whereas the Nets, it's the first game of a back-to-back, but not necessarily a back-to-back or their second game like it is for the Nuggets. So Schroeder's fine. Don't mind going there. Now Warriors. All right, so the Warriors are going to be without Curry, and Wiggins is doubtful. So he could play. He has not been announced out, but it is unlikely he plays. So I think that Hield and Brandon Podziemski could slide into the starting lineup. However, I think Brandon is more of a lock to do that than Hield. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Moses Moody and Brandon in the starting lineup. Hield coming off in that 6-man role, controlling the ball that way, and then probably still plays a few extra minutes. But he's played 28 last time. I think that he's probably in that 26, 28 range. And it all depends if his shot's going in or not. I mean, he's 6K, so it's not like we're really getting a discount on him. I think he's going a little over-owned, but I don't mind getting there. To pivots, Podziemski. I think he is the one that I'm going to be pivoting to off Hield. I would expect he starts. When he starts without Curry, he's been pretty solid. Fantasy point per minute, contributor, and should kind of control the show. I'm interested in him for sure. at 5.7K. He plays 28, 30 minutes, and he definitely could be optimal. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie started off, played 27 minutes the first game, then up to 39 and 36. I think that's kind of where he stays. He hasn't been quite as efficient with Klay Thompson there, but he's been playing under Kyrie Irving. You know, the last game was solid, but 7,900 I think is a little cheap for what we can get from Kyrie. So I'm definitely interested in him in this matchup, which is the second highest game total. And we're going to probably need some exposure to this game. And I think Kyrie's one way we can do it cheap. On the other side of that game, we got Mike Conley. His minutes have slowly crept up. 20, 27, 26. I expect him to stay in this 26 to 28 range pretty much for the rest of the season, barring injury situations. So he is almost fully stretched out. It is around where he was playing last year. Or for a majority of the year, he was playing 28 to 30. Now, he can absolutely still go for, mid-high 30s playing this amount of minutes. He's a solid player, 0.99 fantasy per minute over the last 5 starts, 0.93 over the last 20 starts, and the matchup is fine. The matchup is not bad. It's just kind of meh. On a small slate like this, we're going to need some value, and I think Conley is one that isn't going to kill us, but it could definitely help us win the slate. Now, he's not super value, but he is a lower price guy that I'm definitely considering tonight and a little bit interested. Now, if this was a 10-game slate, I'd be out on Conley because I worry about his ceiling a little. But on a 4-game slate, I'm a little interested and might definitely have a little bit of Conley. All right, now on to DK, high owned. We got Brandon Podimski, 4,900, 34% owned. I think he should be. Dennis Schroeder, 6K, 32% owned. Probably should be. De'Aaron Fox, 8,500, 20% owned. Also probably should be. Conley's only 4,400 on DK. I would probably have a decent amount at that price. I think that is a bargain. And let's get over to shooting guard on FanDuel. We got Anthony Edwards, 41%. He is one of my favorite higher price plays today, and I'm definitely going to get some of him. His price is down to 9K. There's still no cat. Julius Randle is going to take some of that cat usage, but I just don't think he's going to take quite as much. I think this is Anthony Edwards' team now. And with that, I'm super interested going to him while his price is still in the low 9s. Or if it dips into the high 8s, I'll probably be hammering him for a little bit. Because I do expect him to get into the 10s and probably stay there this year once he kind of really gets it rolling. But this is a great spot for him to get it rolling. So definitely interested in Edwards. Healed, we talked about. Colin Sexton, we were on him yesterday. I talked about at 5,500 that he has too big of a ceiling to not consider. 3,200 is not winning us anything, but it's not hurting us either. I'm fine going back here on a back-to-back. He only played 28 minutes. He's going to be fine playing those. It's just the thing with this matchup versus the Kings, somebody is going to have to get hot and kind of will this Jazz team scoring-wise, and it's going to either be Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, or Lauri Markkanen. Not really much else scoring-wise from this team that can produce that boost that this team is going to need to keep up with the Kings. And pivots, Podimski we talked about, Kyrie we talked about, Moses Moody, 4,400. I'm interested to go here. I think there's a chance that he slides into the starting lineup. Now, when he has started, he hasn't had very many games that you really need to have. But without Curry, there is that chance there. They did just pay the guy 3 year, $39 million, so they have some confidence in him. I'm interested in him for sure at 4,400. If he starts, he might get a little bit popular, a little more popular than he is right now, but he's definitely interesting. And at least it is one of the later games, so we're not necessarily sure what's going to happen. And, you know, some people may not pivot to him if he's in the starting lineup. I'm definitely interested, going to have some of him. Klay Thompson, 6,200. All right, this price is up there a little bit, but I'm definitely intrigued. The guy is shooting 11 threes a game right now. His high in Golden State was 10.6. If he's going to be firing it like that all season, he is going to have a couple absolutely huge games with a huge ceiling where he makes, you know, 8 threes, something like that. And I'm here for it. I'm interested in some Klay today in this matchup versus the Timberwolves, who are solid defensively, but Dallas can score it too, so I'm fine going there. On to DK, shooting guard. Moody, we talked about 3,600 is probably a hammer on DK. The one thing I do have to say here, now the ownership is way different here than it is on DK. With this type of ownership, you can consider to fade him because, I mean, he has 15 points when he starts all the time. He can put up 30 plus. He can give you 10x, but he's just as likely or more likely to be sub 20 than he is to be over 30. So you can play this either way. We don't know if he's going to start. We don't know how many minutes he's going to play. I would expect he plays enough minutes to get it done. We have him at 22 right now. I think he could definitely be 24, 28-ish. So, you know, it's up in the air right here, but I think Moody is an interesting spot. And figuring out this Warriors rotation is going to matter a little bit. They have like 10 guys, so, you know, there's a lot of different ways it can go. They could also shrink the rotation a little bit because of their injuries. Podziemski, Schroeder, we talked about him. And let's move over to small forward. Anthony Davis, we love him. Very interested. Or Anthony Edwards, I mean. We love him. Very interested in him. DeMar DeRozan. At 8,100, I'm interested. He's been right around 40 so far the whole time. And we know he can give you 50 plus. And this is a decent spot. He is an Iron Man. Plays every game. Plays a lot of minutes. I don't think this back-to-back is going to worry him whatsoever. And I'm down for some DeMar. Cameron Johnson, 5,500. I'm a little interested. There is no Ben Simmons here. He played 29 minutes, but he's played up to 35 this season. I'm intrigued to go here. I don't love the play, but I'm going to probably be right around where the ownership is, 23. I might be slightly over that. Now, pivots. Brandon Ingram. They could go small ball for New Orleans, and I love the idea of them going small ball here versus the Warriors. Makes a lot of sense, and I think if that happens, this total is probably low because the game's just going to be a lot faster than that total, and I'm definitely intrigued. I do worry a little bit about the Pelicans just rolling the Warriors, but it could go anyway, and the game could definitely stay close into the fourth. Ingram can just do a lot, and he can play a lot of positions. Very interested at 7,900. We see that, you know, ceiling of 50. 44 is possible. Last night was a blowout. He played 32 minutes. He got it done, but nothing, you know, he lost to a tournament. He didn't win it. I'm fine to go there. Other pivots. Klay Thompson we got to. We'll move it. All right, small forward on DraftKings. Let's check it out here. Christian Braun, 4,400, 29% owned is your chalkiest piece. And at this price, I think it is an absolute hammer. 5-star alert score. He's put up 33, 27, 29, all of which are over 6x. So he's been solid. He's been playing at big minutes. And I think that continues. He's been pretty good for them playing this role. So definitely intrigued to go here. And on DraftKings, I think you kind of have to. Now, the one thing I would say is that he is a young player. And it's his first time being a true starter, everyday starter, having that back-to-back. So we don't know how he's really going to respond to that, playing this type of big minutes, but I'm intrigued, and 4,400's a bit too cheap. Gary Payton, 3,500, 22% owned. There is a chance that Gary Payton slides into that starting lineup. Also, Moody, Heald, Podemski, 2 of those are going to be it. I'm intrigued with Gary Payton. He can, do a lot on the defensive side. I don't absolutely love Payton in this spot, but I can see why people are interested and may want to go there. DeRozan, we covered. 7,900 is a steal. I love it. Let's get over to FanDuel power forward. John Collins, 37% owned, 4-star alert score. All right. So I hope none of you watched that Taylor Hendricks injury yesterday because it was ugly, but he's out. There's a chance John Collins slides into the starting lineup. One thing I will have to say is that Collins last season was nowhere near as productive at the power forward as he was at the center. I actually would like him to stay on the bench and play, some power forward and some center when Kessler is out. I think that is a more productive role for him. If he slides into the 4 and he's starting, I don't like it as much. So I may go elsewhere a little bit. I'm fine with some Collins. I think this price is a little cheap because he does have a huge ceiling, but I am tempering expectations. And at this ownership, it does worry me a little bit. Sabonis, I think, is a slam. He's fine with back-to-backs. He showed it last year. Actually, he had the bigger game in the second back-to-back in a lot of his games last year. So fine going to Sabonis. Fine going with DeRozan. Pivots, Brandon Ingram, we talked about. Trace Jackson-Davis. So minutes are a concern here. Played 25 in the first game and 17, 16. The one thing I have to say here is that, the Pelicans could go small ball also. And I think it's actually kind of best interest in both teams to go small ball. I'm interested in Trace Jackson-Davis for sure because he can do a lot of different things and score fantasy points quickly. There is that ceiling there. Minutes are a concern, though. It's really hard to predict what his minutes are going to be from a game-to-game aspect. So if he's at 24, 26 minutes, he's a slam. If he's at 17, 18 minutes, he's too high priced. Part of that is just going to come with how is he playing. He only played 16 minutes last game, but he was doing nothing. 4 points, 6 attempts, 1 rebound, 1 block, 1 assist. That's just not going to cut it, and he didn't play much. So that is where part of his minutes comes from, is just if he plays well or not. Then Draymond Green. There's no Curry. He's going to be asked to score a little bit more, do a little more with the ball in his hands. I'm absolutely interested in Draymond. I don't think he played 20 minutes the first 2 games, then up to 27 last game. I think there is a chance that he plays more 28-30 without Curry there. I'm definitely intrigued to go with some Draymond. If they play a small ball, they could use him at the center a little bit as well. Power forward on DraftKings, we got Zion Williamson. 8,300 is too cheap for Zion. I love the ceiling potential, especially if they go small ball. He could just absolutely eat up this Warriors team if they go small ball as well. Keegan Murray, 5,800. I'm a little intrigued here. I don't totally love it, but definitely willing to have some. DeRozan we've talked about. Kyle Anderson is actually a interesting wild card with these guys being out. If he jumps up to 22, 24 minutes, he's intriguing, but I just don't know if he would. That would be a total guess. But he's definitely a guy that I think could fit this system very well just because he is able to shoot, pass, rebound, kind of do everything pretty well. Kind of Draymond Green, but not nearly as good on the defensive side. Draymond Green meaning just do a lot of different things. Handle the ball, rebound, pass, all that. Now, onto the center spot on FanDuel. John Collins, we covered him. Sabonis, we covered him. Nikola Jokic, 11.6K. I think this is another spot where I absolutely love him. Fine going here in a back-to-back. And I definitely do like him. We don't know what this team or what Denver or Sacramento are going to do on the back-to-back, but I expect both teams to play all their starters. One thing I do have to say is he did play 44 minutes last night, as this Nuggets game did go into OT. So they could be a little tired, which could mean Brooklyn stays in this game a little bit longer and the starters play a little bit more. Jackson Davis we covered. Draymond we covered. So we will move it over to FanDuel center spot. Zion Williamson, Jokic, Collins, Sabonis. We talked about them all. We like them all. That'll do it for us today, guys. I wish you guys the best of luck. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow. Peace.